Today, my very special guest that I have joining with me, you may best know her from Halloween, Miss Judith Myers herself, Sandy Johnson.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for being here, Sandy. Sandy's going to be sharing some stories about her time working with John Carpenter.
Well, it obviously was a very exciting time being in the 70s in California and making movies. My experience on Halloween it started with the interview. I was called by my agent to a house that was actually close to the Myers house to be interviewed. They had me scream, which was weird because it was a residential area, but I complied and did my best scream. They asked me several questions about my acting experience. About 2 days later, I got a call from my agent and he said I had been cast as Judith Myers. That was a happy day. I never really saw the full script, so I only knew the first scene in the movie, which is the one I was in. So that's what I went into the filming with, was only the knowledge of that scene. I had blood pellets in my hands, so when I stabbed my chest, the blood would go everywhere. And then I had to fall off of the stool and onto the ground and die. So that was all had to be practiced quite a bit. Of course, you don't want to hurt yourself when you fall off a stool. It was an interesting day and an interesting shoot and a lot of fun.
I remember that scene all too well.
How old were you when you first saw Halloween?
10 or 11.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of fans, and it's amazing how many of them were under 10 the first time they saw it.
Here we are, 40 something years later, and it's still going on. And the newer Halloweens, I just love how it's a direct sequel to the original. And the last one was just phenomenal.
Yeah, 2018 was very cool. I really loved it when Michael picks up the mask out of the trunk. That was such a cool shot.
Fun fact, guys, after Sandy shifted away from acting, she became a special education teacher.
I taught science to special needs children, children with learning differences, gifted children for about 10 years. And it was amazing. I did find that doing hands-on learning really brought them together and helped them learn. There was very little lecture in my classes. It was all about experimenting and hands-on with stuff. I'm very grateful to have had that opportunity. I met so many wonderful children, and hopefully I made a difference for some of them.
I'm sure you had the chance to check out some of my content. Please, I'd love to hear your 2 cents on that.
I think that it's amazing that you've managed not only to work through autism, but that you've managed to find a way to bring together a community of people who care about the issue and who are finding amazing ways to help people. That is very cool. I loved the music, the Get Up and Move, because when I was teaching, one of the things that really drove the other teachers crazy about me was because my room was never quiet. It was always noisy, because I didn't require the kids to stay in their seats. Even when I was writing on the board or whatever, they could walk around. I didn't care. I just wanted them to be comfortable. And the teacher said, well, they'll never learn. They're not listening. I said, they're listening. They're in fact, they're more focused because their body is busy, but their mind is paying attention to me. It was interesting with the color and the songs that got the kids up and moving, because I found that they could not concentrate if they had to sit still. So I always had things in the room that they could do. They could change chairs, they could stand up, they could lay on a beanbag, they could spin around if they wanted. It really didn't matter, as long as they were able to succeed in the class. And they did very well. So I thought that was an interesting episode, with using music and movement with the kids. The one with the mother who shifted her career in order to deal with her child that was diagnosed with autism, and researched enough to figure out that camel's milk could actually help her child. That was amazing. That's something that people wouldn't know if you didn't do an interview like that. So yeah, I appreciate it. I also have a special needs grandson. So he is not autistic. He has other issues, but I definitely think there are some things in there that he would benefit from. So I'm going to introduce my daughter-in-law and son to your website, and also some of the other people. I will encourage them to watch the YouTube interviews you did. I think there'll be some definite benefit there for them.
I'm sure they will find this just as beneficial as you did, and I really appreciate it.
I'm sure they will too. I can definitely see my grandson enjoying some of the music.
So is there anything else you'd like to address in the time we got?
You can go on to my website, unicornsandyj.com, and look at some of my other interviews. You can also get autographed photos. Lots of things to do on there. That's what I'd like to say. Just I'd look forward to getting to meet more of the horror fans that are in your community.
There you have it. This has been my one-on-one with Judith Myers herself.
Thank you. My pleasure.